Hi, and welcome to the Get Radical Show. It's Liz here, and I'm so excited today to talk with a very dear friend and mentor, Master Stephen Coe. And what we're going to talk about is something that I am sure you're going to be interested in, and it's something that I've never shared with the world before, but he's been traveling around the world with Tony Robbins at major events, sharing the invisible power of manifestation. So this is something that is so relevant and in these particular times that if he can take you and give you tools that may not be able to be seen by the eye, but are rather practices that can take you from a state of maybe depression, if the rug has been pulled out from under you, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in your job, no matter what it is, if that rug has been pulled out and then all of a sudden you're feeling a sense of maybe depression or despair, he is going to help us move from there to some practices that will get us focused and moving towards progress. But to do that, we have to shed what is holding us back and keeping us down and be able to get enough air and oxygen to get to the next step where we can really prosper. And that's what his entire focus has been and why so many people are following him, because he's just about giving. So Master Coe, welcome. I'm so happy to see you.
Thank you,
He
Liz.
actually
Always
just,
nice
yeah.
to see you, always.
Yeah, he's the most humble person you'll ever meet. I mean, he has taken me personally. You want to know what my secret weapon is? It's Master Coe. He has taken me through, it's true, through so many 911s in my life where I've called him and I said, you are never going to believe what's happened. He'll go, we'll see what we can do. And so he's taken me through processes to help cleanse myself of negativity, fear, anxiety that was just clogging up my ability to even think and respond and think through a situation. And he's also helped me send love, vibration, and he's of course done his own magic to help me with others that I was having, let's say, an adverse moment with or a real problem with. So I'm really happy to bring you this information because he was the best kept secret. Now he's all over the world with Tony Robbins, and I'm just so happy to bring him to you. So, Master Coe, here we go. I'm going to jump right into it.
Wow, what an introduction. I don't know what to say to that. Okay.
Yeah, well, you've got lots to say, so that's why we're on here today. So you're doing this meditation right now coming up to the full moon, which is the prosperity moon, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming on the heels of people that are feeling like there's so much turmoil and dissension and anger and unrest, whether it's in riots, in protests, even peaceful protests. There's so much pent up emotion that has occurred from being locked up with COVID for months. And the fallout from that is people losing their jobs, maybe having to rest with their relationships, maybe not being as kind with their kids as they might want to be, or having to totally reinvent themselves. But I know, and I've been hearing from a lot of people that that's true, but I'm stuck. Like, how do I get from point A to point B? And what are some of the process or practices or tips or tools that are not visible to us, like, this glass of water, but are much more thirst quenching than this glass of water when it comes to how it cleanses your soul and allows you to move forward. So please tell us, given this environment, what you're seeing and what do you think are some of the most critical steps that someone can engage in?
Well, there's the first thing everybody has to realize that everything in the universe is made of energy. And unfortunately, most people think energy is, oh, today I have more energy, tomorrow I don't. It's so vague for them. They don't realize that this energy is as tangible as the glass you're holding. It's just that we are not tuned to it. It's just like, if you've been to Tony's events, they will say, okay, look for something red. You look around, oh, you see red, but that red has been there the whole time, but you don't notice it. Same thing with energy. It's everywhere. That's why you go to an acupuncturist. When they stick a needle in you, basically they're trying to move the energy through your body. When you do Tai Chi, you're trying to move it. When you close your eyes, or as simple as when you love someone, there's a movement of loving energy between your heart and theirs. So if a person could just first have that realization that that is real, and that energy basically permeates every thought, every emotion that we have, we'll be more mindful of it, and it will change our reality altogether. For example, you said people are depressed, people are feeling down. They don't realize those feelings are not them. It is something they created in response to the environment. So if by just realizing that, okay, when you're pissed off and angry, you notice sometimes you're watching yourself getting angry, right? So when you're screaming, yelling at someone because you lost control, part of you is watching you. What are you doing? And at that point, you get to realize that, hey, wait, I created those thoughts. Somehow I'm watching them. When most people have that realization of who they really are, the I, they regain their power. So they will start to realize that, oh, this feeling of anxiousness, this feeling of being down, this is not me. This is like mud that's building up on my body. That's why I feel heavy. So if I can first, number one, disidentify myself from it, that this is not the I, that means whatever you see in the media, whatever people insult you with, these are just mud flung at you, but you are not that mud. That makes all the difference in the world, because if you can first have that realization, people could be screaming, yelling at you, and you go, okay, that's your opinion. I'm not accepting it. That's not mine. It doesn't mean that you're denying it. It's just you're not taking it in. So that's the first step. And with the audience, I just wanted to make it more tangible. So I'm going to have you guys feel energy, if that's all right. Okay. And everybody can do this.
Yeah, of course it's all right.
Okay. What I like to do, okay, if you don't mind, I'm just going to close the door because there's some noise so I can really focus on that real fast.
Okay, please. Guys, this is so good. I mean, honestly, people travel all over the world. When I first went to Master Co., I mean, it was a 1-year waiting list just to get into him. So we had to pull, I mean, even my celebrity friends were like, Liz, do you think we could get in to see Master Co.? So I just want you to know what you're hearing right now, what you can experience with him right now is like the jewel. So, okay, go back. So, hands.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not good at taking compliments, so thank you very much. I'll do my best. Okay, rub your hands together. Press the center of your palms, okay? Now, the point here is what they say in Chinese medicine is energy follows your blood follows your energy. So when you move around in your body, blood is pumping, the life force that is interpenetrating your blood will start moving. That's why for some people who say, how come I just meditate and the more I meditate, I don't feel like doing anything. There's a time and amount of meditation of practicing stillness, but there's also a time that you have to move your body to circulate that energy. Okay, so just to kind of put it together for you, because some of you go, yeah, I've been meditating home. The more I meditate, the more useless I become. Because although you generate a lot of energy, if it's not moving, it becomes stagnant. So there has to be a balance of generation of energy and circulation of this energy. Okay, and
so that's why you say after we do the meditation of twin hearts or your different meditations, you say, okay, now move your body. I want you to go walk, stretch, actually do something. And so that's the reason, because even though you're doing that meditation, there is stagnation. So you're wanting to rid that. Is that right?
Exactly. Because when the energy comes in, it's just like you have a bunch of pipes and now you're filling it up. But instead of water, it's energy. And at some point, some areas are going to have more than others. So if you don't move around, those areas become stagnant and becomes heavy. That's why if you notice, most people, after a deep meditation, you say, get up and go, I have to, they feel like they just want to.
Right.
And initially that's good because it got you the objective you want, which is to calm your emotions and your mind. The problem is if you do that too long, inertia takes over, so you don't feel like moving. And then instead of being productive, you actually become lazy. I've seen that happen. So what you do is you want to go to a routine. Before you do your meditation, you do some exercise to just kind of get it flowing. You do your meditation, whatever meditation you're doing, and afterwards, just gentle movement. Go walk around. Go hug somebody you love. So as the energy flows, it starts circulating. You start assimilating, absorbing that energy. And so what we're going to do now is just a simple exercise that everybody could feel. And if you have children, they're the best ones because they don't overthink everything. Okay? So after you rub your hands together, you need to press the center of your palms. This stimulates the hand center. Now, this hand center here is connected to your heart. There's a saying, your hands are either instruments of love and compassion or instruments of harm and destruction, because that's what you use. Now, the interesting part is this energy center connects to your heart. When your heart is very, very open, you have a tendency to use your hands to be of service to others. When the heart is weak, not physically, but energetically weak, there's no love in you, then that hands are being used to hurt people. And so just the fact that you stimulate this over and over again, you become more sensitive to people's feelings, so you're more caring, and also you become more loving. Okay, just to kind of add that in there. So I hope I'm not talking a million miles per hour. So I'm trying.
I like it. I'm ready.
Okay, open your palms like this. Put your tongue on the roof of your mouth to keep that energy connection. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly. Exhale slowly. This time, imagine light pouring into your hands. Take a deep breath. Absorb that light into your hand. Let it go up to the elbow, to the shoulder. And exhale it right down and out of your hands again. One more time. Imagine light pouring into your palms. Take a deep breath. Inhale that in. Down to your elbows, up to your shoulders, to your neck, to your head. Past your head to a light above your head. And exhale and bring that light down your head, down your shoulders, elbows, hands, and out. Okay, just be still. Just doing that alone, most of you will feel a certain sensation in your hands. Some people feel it as tingling, weight, electricity, or it's just a something. Now, what I want you to do is raise your hands and have it face each other, like this. Armpit slightly open. This is to allow energy flow, not for ventilation, just for clarification there. Okay? Then all you're going to do is imagine there's a beautiful pink cloud in between your hands. And you're just going to let it expand a few inches and just lovingly compress it a little bit. Okay? Keep going. Release it. Compress it. Release it. Compress it. Now, most people, when you do this, you feel there's a weird sensation between your hands. That's the life force that flows through your body. Now, to take it one step further, we're going to connect 3 fingers, the thumb, the index, and the middle. You're just going to connect it like this, okay? Just to put it in context, when people do yoga, what they do is they connect fingers together. These are called mudras. They connect circuits. You know, just like you have the lights in a room, you have different switches to turn different lights. So you have energy channels connected to different parts of your body. As you connect your fingers, you're connecting energy channels. So in yoga, this does something, this does something. You know, when you're praying, you connect like this. All of those connect different energy circuits. But the simplest one is the thumb, index, and middle. Put it together like this. Have it facing each other. Okay, keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And what I want you to do is gently exhale. Put your attention on your fingertips. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Again, just leave your attention on your fingertips. Take a deep breath. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Take a deep breath. And exhale. All right. If you open your eyes, gently try to pull your hands apart. And then just gently try to push them closer together. Pull them apart, together. You know, when I do this, you usually get a smirk from people to go, what the heck is that? That's the energy that's focused in between your hands. Now, one more thing, shake your hands. Open one palm.
I hope you guys are doing this at home. You've got to do this. You got to get like in the game. I'm telling you, might like seem weird for a minute. Just go in another room, do whatever, but just try this because I'm telling you, it really works. And it's definitely these are some of the tools that I use. So I'm really, really happy you're doing this. Okay. So now I felt that.
Thank you. All right. So open one hand like this, just one finger. And this is teaching you how to direct energy. You know, there's a saying, don't point at someone, it's impolite, because you're sending energy. Now we're actually consciously teaching you how to use this energy. So hold one hand like this, one finger, point it like this. Now imagine a laser beam of white light going from this finger to the palm. Just project it over and then rotate it.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
And then the other direction. That's why I want to make sure it's this far, because if it's like this, of course you're going to feel it. If it's this far, the air can't hit that far. Now let's try it with the other hand. Same thing. Open this one. Imagine like a laser beam of bright light to the palm and just rotate. Now, most of you will notice one hand seems to be more sensitive than the other. Okay? Now, Liz, this is the one that we were talking about earlier. This is just to make people realize energy is everywhere and energy transcends time and space. So I want all of you to open your hands like this. Now, I'm here in Southern California. I have no clue where the rest of you guys are. You're in the Bahamas, and it is a certain time now. By the time you watch this, what time zone, doesn't matter. So keep your hand like this. Ready? Okay, you put your hands down.
Are you guys doing this? This is some cool stuff. Okay, so I guess what we've just acknowledged is that if you even do some of those things, energy is real. And Master Co and I got in a call about 30 minutes ago, and we just got into a back and forth and a rant, and I was the rant, and he was the he was Master. But I was talking about, I've been following his 7-day meditation, coming up to this prosperity moon. And I said, Master Co, I did that meditation with you this morning. So go to Master Co, what is it, _org, I believe it is, on Instagram, right? Did I do it right? I think so.
Yes.
And so I went and I was doing some of these meditations. And here it is, 6 o'clock in the morning. I look at it and his live was 9 hours earlier in Los Angeles. I'm in the Bahamas. And I mean, I had just chills all over my body, and I woke up kind of aggravated and feeling overwhelmed, and you know, nothing was happening like this, and everything was taking longer, and there were some negative distractions and things occurring. And after doing this meditation, I'm thinking, I know he's not here, because Master Co has done different healings on me, and I could feel it to the point after he did it, I was like, hi. I was afraid to drive my car, as you recall. Because I just was, I was like dizzy. It was like I was floating up there. And I did this meditation. Here I am on the deck with my dogs by myself, breeze. And I am telling you, I had chills running through my body. I felt like I had flushed so much negativity. I was feeling positive and was reframing the things that I was going to do. It was just a miracle. So I had to call you and say, all right, come on, just like you can bottom line me on this. You did this 9 hours, right? You did this 9 hours earlier. I'm doing it in the morning. And how come you were telling me to be receptive like you do when you're right there with me? And I know you do distant healings and stuff like that, but then I'm thinking you're focused on me when you do the healing. Therefore, yes, I feel it. Yes, I have transformation. But here you were focused not on me. Didn't even know I was going to watch it. You were focused on anybody and everyone that would watch it. So I was saying, how could I have this whole body experience as if you and I had been together? And your answer was, because I think you guys are really going to like this, it's something that, I mean, I'd never asked this question before, but I was thinking it kind of defies my what I can see and understand logic. So you had a really good answer. I like that.
Okay. You know, a lot of people talk about oneness. They do meditation. Oh, we're all interconnected. The universe. You know, you see people post it everywhere. But most people, when they say, oh, we're interconnected, it's like a metaphor. It's like something you aspire for. They don't realize that it is that real. By the way, the word realization comes from two words, real and Asian, which is actually, it's so real for you, act upon it. So when you have that realization that we're really interconnected, the entire universe opens up to you because you realize we are all swimming in the same ocean of energy. That means we're connected, literally. And that's the reason why you're over there, I'm over here, I'm moving my hands like a crazy guy, and you're feeling it regardless of your time zone. Because once you have that realization that we are connected and we're in this ginormous field of energy, that is not just field like air, it's like the cloud. You know, when you're in the computer, you send stuff over to the cloud, it's sitting in an intangible place, although there are a bunch of computers, but literally it's a network of energy. Now, to take it a little deeper, when it comes to spirituality, this network is made of energy particles that could hold data. When I talk about data, it is spiritual energy, emotional energy, mental energy. Everything that we do is lodged into that field. Some people call it the Akashic records, okay? And some of you who studied, you know, I'm talking about, it goes way beyond that. So when we do these meditations, we do healing, essentially what I'm doing is I'm putting that data in the cloud and it's sitting there regardless of your time zone or your location. Once you do the meditation, as soon as you're tuned into it, it's like you tap into it, you download it to your system. That's it. That's real oneness.
Wow. So let's translate that to someone sitting at home right now, like me, and I'm sure a couple of others, and we're saying, geez, there's a lot going on, and I want to manifest or create some things for my life. And I know you've got an amazing meditation class and transformational manifestation class coming up. And you've got 3 levels that we were talking about. So I really am sharing with you, you guys, you have to sign up for this because these are life-changing practices. And that's what's so brilliant about this, is that you actually can, wherever you are in the world, start to implement those and get the manifestations or the results you want. So today, while we're talking about this, how can we at least give some really clear tools or tactics to clear enough of the energy for the moment to give some people some freedom to not be choking, so that they can have a breath and start to focus on what they want to manifest. So I've got some very specific goals, and I just did a great podcast with Bob Proctor, who I just love and adore. And
he's
we
fantastic.
talked a lot. Yeah,
I remember
isn't he
him. He's a
amazing?
great guy. Yes.
He's just incredible. He's the grandfather of personal development, and for sure. We talked about goal setting and being specific and seeing it like a movie in your mind, and how to visualize and what some of those tools are, and to get emotionally involved with what you visualized. And we've seen, and I've seen time after time, where whether I've cut out pictures on a dream board or I've written it down or I've held that in my consciousness, all of a sudden, boom, 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 all these things started to come to fruition. So as it relates to some of the tools that, like I'm mentioning, whether it's goal setting, visualization, having an intention, having something that you want to occur, or reinventing yourself because your life has just changed and now you've got this clear palette. What are some of the tools to, let's say, magnify your daily rituals, whether it's affirmations, writing down gratitude lists, your goal setting and being clear on that, and having visualization? What are some of the ways that we can actualize, manifest, and magnify this so it happens more quickly and that we're in alignment with the destiny that we want?
Well, I'm going to go in a different direction simply because this
Okay.
is something that people don't talk about. I
Okay.
love Bob
Okay.
Proctor, Tony Talker. Everybody talks about, what you should aim for. You focus on what you want. And that is 1 billion%, I'm on board. The only
Okay.
thing is there's one little piece that most people need to deal with first so they can maximize that. And
Okay.
the saying goes, big fish eat small fish. If you've ever heard me say that. In other words, when we do goal setting, when we make New Year's affirmation, we do all these things. You're going, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to visualize this. You're creating energy for the future, which is great. Only one slight challenge. How many years has that person been building those negative thoughts and emotions of worry, those emotions, thoughts that have been implanted with them by people who are very negative? That's all sitting there. Now, if you don't get rid of this stuff, this that you're generating will work. The only problem, if you're not focused, as soon as you take your focus out of it, what happens is this takes over and the person starts having little self-doubt they won't admit to anyone. So that's what you see people. They're very, very successful, and then out of nowhere, they do crazy stuff like self-sabotage because they didn't get rid of the old thoughts and emotions they generated. So to just make it more
Okay.
real for everyone, that these thoughts are not just some random ideas, oh, it's got energy. Napoleon Hill said, thoughts are things. Let's make it
Right.
more tangible. Okay, shake your hands. Let's make it more real.
Okay. Okay.
Go like this. All right. It feels about the same, right? Now watch. I want you to look at one hand. Just look at one hand and recall something that irritates you. Hopefully it's not me. Think of something that irritates you. Just look at your hand. Just recall something that pisses you off. Just for about 5 seconds. Okay, good enough. Look at the other hand. I want you to look at that hand and recall something that makes you happy. In fact, as you look at your hand, I want you to smile. Smile from your heart. Something that makes you grateful. Okay, that's about 5 seconds each. Now watch. Here's the secret. Go like this. Compare sensations. How does the one that...
This hand hurts.
Now,
it actually hurt. It actually feels like I've got a little bit of arthritis now in this hand. And I don't know. I'm just saying. And this one feels lighter.
Here's the best secret of all. Watch. Go like this and say disintegrate. Just say disintegrate. 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 Okay, easy enough, right? Go like this again. Now compare.
They feel the same.
Exactly.
They feel, but they feel a little, I can feel the energy, but they feel the same.
Yeah. Every thought, every emotion we have basically creates this energy form. Just imagine, it's just like every time I'm sitting here going, ooh, ice cream. If I say that, if you have somebody who could see energy, they would see almost like a hologram of that ice cream floating here. Now, if I think of, oh yeah, it's going to be a terrible day, that's going to be a form floating here. If I say, oh, I love that person. So at any given time, you're creating these clouds of thoughts all over your energy field. Now, here's what happens. Unless you do something to flush this out, you're walking around in a cocoon of these thoughts and emotions. And if the negative stuff are more than the positive ones, guess what? You don't have to try to be negative. By just simply being passive, it takes over. So when you make affirmations, visualizations, you're creating the positive ones, which is good. But you first have to get rid of this stuff. Otherwise, this will eat this one up. And so that's where meditation comes in. That's where the technique we're going to share with you right now, how to discharge a lot of this old stuff so the negative patterns don't keep coming back to you. And you're going to go, I can't believe it. I was doing so well. What happened? It's just like, I'm backsliding. No, you're not backsliding. What is happening is the old stuff came to the surface and you did not deal with it. So instead you go, I'll make this strong. So hopefully this overcome this guy. But if you just simply do the tools we're going to share with you right now, which is anybody can do this. You don't need to have 20 years of meditation or breathing exercise. Anybody can do it. You just need to understand it and do it. It's as easy as somebody cusses you out, it pisses you off. You do this technique, less than 10 seconds, you go, let's see if nothing happened. And
So
if you do that little by little.
Specifically. So I want to hear that example. Like, let's just say someone's husband or someone's wife says something really negative, or a boss or someone on social media, disses them for something they've done and it feels hurtful. I mean, I don't know. There's a thousand things I know that all at home right now we can think about, right, guys? So give me an example so that I can take that home.
Okay, we'll do two things. One, we'll teach you a technique on how to deal with it when it happens. Okay. And we'll also teach you a technique to, do at your own pace of how to just keep cleaning that closet of emotional crap over the years. Okay? It has to be both, because if you just deal with this one, you don't deal with that one, doesn't work. If you deal with this one, you don't know how to deal with what's happening in front of you. So let's start with what's in front of you. First thing you need to realize is this. Everything is energy. So when a person is angry with you, it's just like visually, it's like they shot a big lump of mud towards you. But it's just made of energy, so you don't physically feel it, but you kind of sense it. The easiest way to understand this, and I'm going through this with all of you, Liz, is because the more you realize how real this is with everyday experiences, the more certainty you have, and the more certainty you have, the better control you have with it. For example, some of you have noticed this. You're standing like this, and suddenly you went like this, and you go, somebody's staring at you. What made you look there? Because from our eyes project energy. So as they stare at you, that hits your field and you're sensitive enough to feel it. Make sense? Now, imagine when somebody's looking at you and saying, you are this, and you are the dumping all that stuff. It's just a bombarding.
Yeah.
Right? That happens. So we teach this in the psychic protection class, but we'll give you step-by-step on how to do this right now. The easiest thing to do, if it's possible, is for you to cross your arms. Okay? Now, this is your heart center on the center of your chest. Right below the sternum is what's called the solar plexus. That's where you feel nauseated when people insult you or you got bad news, because this solar plexus center is where that stuff accumulates. So luckily, God made your arms just the right length. When you cross your arms, it blocks it. Okay? Now, the secret in crossing your arms is the thumb. This is not taught anywhere. This is usually taught only people who know energy. Crossing your arms does one thing, but if you really want to make you feel like a fortress, you put your thumb inside. So when I cross my arms, I put my thumb inside and I gently squeeze. When you do that, that person will be screaming, yelling at you. It won't bother you. That's part one. Part two, your vulnerable side is your lower left rib area. Your lower left rib area is what we call the spleen center. This is the center that gets clogged when somebody drains your energy. So if the threat is in front of you, or if the person is screaming, yelling, you just kind of, nonchalantly go, oh, really? Huh. Let me think about it. You notice I'm having my right side face them to hide this. Okay, so if you go,
wow,
I see your point. So if you're like this, it looks like you're confrontational. If you're like, I see your point. So you're able to keep their stuff out. At the same time, you don't look like you're not open. Because if you try to do this with your spouse, not going to go so well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But if you go, I see you got a point. In the meantime, you're staying detached. You're able to observe it without allowing their crap to go into your system. That's one. Another way to do it is like this. As the person's in front of you, let's say you cannot really cross your arms because that would be perceived as being close.
Defensive,
so you look at them,
right.
Defensive. So you look at them, and the secret is put your attention on your heart and your crown. Okay? So I'm looking at the person, and they're screaming, yelling. You have to maintain eye contact. Otherwise, they'll say, oh, see, you're not listening. I've heard that a few times from my wife. You're not listening. Okay, so maintain eye contact. Focus on your heart and your crown. And as you're doing this, just flood them with two colors, pink and gold. So when you do meditation twin hearts, those are the same colors because those two colors have transforming effect. In other words, that's why we used to pray of St. Francis, where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. It has a transforming effect. And the nice thing about it, you just have to be conscious. While they're screaming and yelling at you, focus on your heart and your crown and just flood them in your mind.
So
just
your
say,
heart and your crown.
Just imagine light is going towards them, pink and gold, that they're being literally smothered with pink and gold. And this is what you can expect. I've done this so many times. Not that people are pissed off with me, but when it happened.
Yeah, that I'd like to see.
Okay. And they're like, yeah, this and this. At some point, remember, you're not adding kerosene to the fire. You're just projecting lots of love. At some point, one of two things happen. Either they calm down because you're not adding to it, or they go like this. Anyway, let's talk about it another time. And they walk away. Because what's happening, you're not feeding it. And you're just kind of like that, pink and gold.
Okay, so it's pink and gold. And so when you're hearing what Master Ko is saying, it's like having a vision of light, right? I mean, it's energy to see the streams of light. Am I correct?
Yes.
And you want that light. Okay.
It's coming from you, pink and gold, or if it's just too much for you, as you're listening to them, just imagine they're wrapped in the bubble of pink, wrapped in the bubble of gold. The effect is the same. It's just different people have different ways of visualizing.
Okay, so we wrap them. We bubble wrap them in pink and gold.
Pink and gold.
Got it. Okay.
So that's how you deal with immediate. Now, here's another one. I hope I'm not overloading you guys with too much technique.
We've got two already. So we're covering our spleen, right? We're turning our right side, and we've got our thumbs here, and
like that.
We're listening. Squeezing. Okay, we're squeezing. Okay.
And then you smile.
And we smile. Right.
And give the illusion that you care.
Yeah, exactly. But we're like, cancel. Thanks for sharing. And so then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to either see them bubble wrapped with pink and gold, or we're going to see streams of light of pink and gold going towards them. Okay, and showering all over them. Maybe a pink and gold shower. Okay, great. That's two.
Now, another thing you could do is, I know if you're listening to this, a lot of you have studied, have meditated. There's this thing called the violet flame. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's a very common practice that people talk about. Oh, I'm imagining the violet flame, Saint Germain, violet flame. The concept is very, very simple. If you're Roman Catholic, you know this. You go to a confessional box and you emotionally vomit on the priest. Okay, that's called confession. Now ask yourself a simple question. How does the priest feel with person after person just unloading on him? But you see, he's protected. He's protected because when he wears that purple scarf around his neck, it forms a violet shield around him. So the color violet, which is a spiritual color, is also the same color that breaks up negative thoughts and negative emotion. That's why some of you, when you're in deep prayer or meditation or stillness, some of you see in your inner sight colors of violet. And then you go like this. You stress out, then you go like this. You go, and then you go deeper. That's because as soon as you go. I
felt that today when I did your meditation, because you took me through the colors. And when I hit that, I was like, it was like the first real deep breath I had taken. I was like breathing fully again as opposed to shallow.
Because that's what happened. The violet went in and just displaced all the blockages out of your system. So what you can do, there's two things. If that person is in front of you, they're screaming and yelling, as they project all these negative thoughts at you, just imagine each of their negative thoughts are burning up with violet light. Like that. And you will notice it doesn't touch you. After the whole thing is done, you're sitting going, wow, how come they used to push my buttons, now they don't do it anymore? It's because you prevented it from going in by just imagining it burning up with violet light. Like that.
So if you have memories, let's say that you've got, which I'm sure we all do. I know I've got plenty of memories of someone really upset with me, screaming at me, telling me I'm not enough, telling me why I failed, why I've whatever. So is that the same thing when I have that thought? Do I shoot that purple light or no? Different.
There's a better way. You got the concept. You got the right concept. So what we covered now is just what to deal with immediate stuff happen to you. Now let's talk about
one more question. Let's say, I know I've been hearing a lot of people saying the news is impacting them, stressing them out, or what they're reading on their internet or Instagram is really affecting them. They're taking it in. Would the act of reading or watching TV or listening to something that might not be directed specifically at me, but it causes me that negative, stressful, sticky mud, Now, would you approach that kind of feedback or interaction the same way to protect yourself?
What you can
Even though it's not a human being, you're reading it, right? It was said before. Okay.
Yes, you filter it. The way you filter it is as you're watching or listening to it, just in your mind, just have awareness that you have a violet film in front of you.
Okay.
So whatever stuff that's coming in, before it goes to your consciousness, it's being broken down by that violet light. It's just like a purple windshield. Just sit there. So it doesn't penetrate. It breaks it up. And what actually happens when you do that is your aura turns violet, just like the color you see here. And that color, you don't have to think about, oh, I gotta get rid of this negative thoughts and emotions. It's natural for that color to break down lower frequency. So if you just have it there the whole time, you're talking to someone, you start noticing that, wow, how come this person used to affect me, now they don't? So that's how to do it when it's in front of you. Now, should we go to how to get rid of stuff that we have? Or
the past one, yeah. Okay. We're ready.
Now, there are many ways to do this. I mean, we're kind of short on time, so I'll do whatever I can. The first one is the meditation. When you do the meditation, Twin Hearts, that alone has a flushing effect. And you don't have to visualize anything. You just do it. The energy flow through your body, and it'll clean stuff out. Okay, so that's one. Now, let's talk about active techniques you can do aside from meditation. The first thing you do is you imagine there's a purple or violet fire right in front of you. Violet fire going up about 2-3 feet, like a violet fire. And you sit down, stand up, doesn't matter. And what you do is first recall what are those thoughts, emotions, ideas that's bothering you. Now, I know people say, well, you shouldn't do that because you'll kick it up. No, there's a difference between dwelling in it and just simply identifying it. Because if you don't identify it, it's stuck inside. So the key is to go like this. I recall like 3 years ago, this person did to me. It's still bothering me. Okay, you recall it. And here's the critical part, which I want everyone to pay attention to. You have to first realize those are energies that were generated. That's not the I. So what I'm going to do, I'll make it very, very tangible. So let's say 3 days ago, somebody really pissed me off. So I'm still feeling that negative emotion. So I go like this. I imagine that this anger and pain, wherever it is in my body, is now coming off my body like a gray cloud right here. Okay? So instead of inside, it's now outside. Then the key is to take one step back. This is very important. Either you do it in your mind or you physically take one step back. So it's just like at first it's inside, now it's floating in front of you. Then you go like this. You take your right hand or left hand, depending on which one is your dominant hand. You imagine that you have a violet flame around your hand. And you go like this. Cut, disconnect. The reason that's important is because these negative thoughts and emotions, we've been feeding it through the years subconsciously. Every time we have a similar negative emotion, negative situation happens, we're feeding this guy. So as soon as you go like this, it's now in front of you, you disconnect. After you disconnect, you start noticing, how come it doesn't bother me anymore? Because it's now separate from you. No, we're not done yet. From there, it's as simple as this. I know this sounds really elementary, like a kid would do it, but that's why it's powerful. Throw it into the fire. That's it.
So we first disconnect it, right?
Grab it, throw it into the fire.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
You see, people have done this, but they don't understand what they're doing. For example, many years ago, I was with Tony. This was 2 years ago. We were in Abu Dhabi. There's this healer. He's fantastic. And the way he did it is like this. Okay, what phobia do you have? What pain do you have? And he goes like this. And some of you have done this before. Okay, if you were to put a color to that pain, what is it? What is the texture? What does it smell like? What is this? You heard us before, right? And then from there, they go, okay, now I'll do this, do that, press this, press that. Okay, how does it feel? What's the color? What's this? What's that? So people go, wow, how come it's gone? See, they don't realize the process is very, very simple. When you start saying that pain is this color, that's texture, in order to do that, it forces you to bring it to the surface. So now it's not inside you. Now, you don't have to do all that stuff. All you have to do is like, okay, this anger that I'm feeling here, here, is now a gray cloud out here. Then you step back, cut off the food supply, which is you throw it out, poof, gone. You just do it over and over again. And most people, this is the funny part. If you try this even with something as simple as you love that food, just think of a food you love. You do that technique, 1 minute later, you don't want it. It's like literally could be an appetite suppressant technique. because every desire
It's
we
a
have
miracle.
is an
It's a
energy.
miracle.
It's that simple.
I was actually thinking, how do you do that for weight loss other than not eating it? Is there a way to cut off your fat in your body energetically because you're holding it? I mean,
You,
especially with, I don't know, women, if you're feeling like I do, but when your hormones have gone crazy, you've got very little control over it. So it isn't as if you may just be, like yesterday I had an avocado, right? An avocado, and then I had something to eat, and it was like steamed shrimp with a little bit of curry sauce. That's it. I'm thinking, seriously, what's going on? But I think it was the anxiety, the stress, the not sleeping, the cortisol, my hormones. They don't deliver a lot of hormones on this island, trust me. So I'm like, 911. So can you also do it for some of the physical things that you're trying to change or transform?
yes, this is how it's done. Because we already know, doctors and researchers have said this, that negative emotions can get stored in the muscles and the tissues of our body. So when somebody has a trauma, one of the reasons why they gain weight, aside from feeling depressed, is that anger and depression somehow seeps itself into our cells, and it kind of makes us inactive. So they gain weight. It slows down your metabolism. So what you can do is
Okay.
this: you don't try. Your objective is not to lose weight. Your objective is to remove this trauma energy or this anger energy, whatever it is that's causing you to have that effect, by doing this technique. And what will happen is, when that's not weighing you down anymore, it will kickstart your metabolism, making you also want to move around, which will get the effect. So it's not directly on the fat cells, it's what's causing you to be inactive and what weighs you down. Am I making
Got it.
sense at all?
Yeah, totally. I love that.
So
So
that's one way to do it.
Violet, so we took the our past feelings or traumas, and so it's really an exercise of frankly reminding ourselves or recalling an event that is a typical thematic event that may be in the back, that maybe it's prior to divorce or prior to losing a job, or being told we're being let go, or having an argument with a mate or a girlfriend, or receiving something negative, and taking that memory that triggered us to make us feel so badly, and we might, like, we have it as that negative cloud that over our head. Instead, recall it, and then see it out there as a gray cloud. Step away from it so you have even more distance physically, and then cut the connection between you and the cloud, and then grab that little sucker and throw it in the violet light fire trash can.
Yep. And here's the most important part, Liz, that I want to emphasize to everyone. This works because at any given point when you're doing this, you have to have such certainty that no matter how bad that negative emotion is, it's simply a frequency of energy. Because when you do it that way, immediately it loses its grip on you. Do you get my point? It's one of those things where I know there's gravity, so if I let go of this, I have certainty it's going to drop. So if I have that same certainty, look, I know that was a painful time in my life, but that was something that it's not physically with me more, it's just energy. So therefore, if it's just energy, I can move that energy. I created it, I can remove it out of my system. If you have that going through your mind, even if you did this mechanically, it will work. That's the secret.
Wow. This is the invisible power. I love it. And we started off talking about manifesting, and that's going to be, I'd love if you'll allow us to do a second segment of this. I would be so grateful when you can find some time in the next couple days or week on
I'd love to.
just, I would love that. And so on pure manifestation. But what I got from this is that it's hard because we talked about goal setting and we talked about visualization, and I was mentioning these, and whether you're dealing with all the greats in personal development and getting what you want, what you're saying, until we peel the onion and we take that negativity, which is either right here in back of us and following us around, or occurring to us every day and keeping it accumulating, there is no way to create in a new space or with a new palette if we haven't unleashed the other. And so this is, I would say, part one.
Yes.
Right? I mean, just in manifestation. So what you've really pointed out is, great, we want to manifest, but you're not going to be able to have the clarity for goal setting, manifestation, visualization, attracting, you know, and a vibration that actually is going to get you what you want in a speedy way if you have all this garbage and weights and you're carrying around 100 pounds on your shoulders. And the 100 pounds is 100 pounds of the past and or things that are coming up daily that are accumulating. So we've got two different practices. One, to stop what we're accumulating and sucking up like a sponge that's just making it worse, and especially in this particular environment. And then the second thing, the opportunity, is to say, okay, well, I know I've got some baggage, which is fine, we all do. And now I've got some tools to very simply move that baggage out, cut it, and drop it in the waste. And that starts to free me up. Like you were talking about, energy is something that goes right through, let's call them centers, tubes, whatever, like you plug in and it just is going through your body. But if it's already stopped up and we don't have that flow, it's going to be much more difficult to move in the direction of where we want to go.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Get students. Okay.
Couldn't say it any better. That's wonderful. And I just want to share with everyone, Liz, is this is something anybody can do. Because I've always been taught by my teacher, you know, the purpose of the teacher is not for you to rely on the teacher, but the teacher is supposed to point you to the door so you can walk through the door and get what you want. And that's why I love it when you ask me, are there tools I can use? Because I've dedicated my life to giving people tools, because I'm not, you know, look, you can only help so many people in one day. Even if I see 20 people a day, there's still thousands who need help, but we can give them tools, we can empower people. And I love it when you ask these questions, because that's exactly what I had in mind. It's like, if they can do this, they know how to throw it into the fire, do it 3-4 times, after a while, they're happier. I don't even have to know these people to know that their life is transformed. So thank you, Liz, for that opportunity.
Well, you are absolutely a transforming soul, and I'm so grateful to know you and what you give back and what you share and how you're touching so many. It really is changing the landscape of a new world where we have been in lockdown with ourselves, right? And this is the perfect time. So all the different things that are coming up, all the sea changes in careers or in relationships or whatever it is, any vulnerabilities, we now want to jump start so that we can get onto a world and get onto a life that we want to create. And these are some of the tools to get rid of what is holding us back. And that's what I'm so excited about. So I'm not excited to get off the phone, but I'm really excited to go try these things, because I think I have some luggage that I need to unpack.
All of us do.
Yeah, and throw in a perfect waste bag, a violet waste basket. But I would love to reconnect and do this, because I want to get onto the tools of speeding up manifestation and how we can do that to really get where we want to go. And I want to say, everyone, please go to, it's masterco_org on Instagram. And his Instagram lives are amazing. You've got to tune in. Go to Meditation of Twin Hearts. He's running classes all the time. He's getting ready to do a 3-part series, which are so impactful. I mean, I've given you, well, he's given you, I've been a little bit of a conduit, but this much of what he has to download into you. Think about how many downloads we have a day, just the number of Instagrams that come in, the number of emails that come in, all of that, everything that we're watching, listening to, taking in, they are downloading into our systems. And unless we clean up our system, it's hard to drive the train in the direction that we want to go. And he's giving us some really specific tools to do that. And our next series will be on how to magnify and intensify our manifestation so we can get where we want to go sooner. So Master Co, you rock. I love you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're just such a giver, and I love that you're able to share these things. So we've got some simple tools to use at home to get us where we want to go. And I can't wait to have part 2 because I'm all about it, because with lots of stuff I want to radically manifest in my life, and I know others do as well.
Oh, thank you
So
for giving me the
until
opportunity to
then,
contribute. Thank you.
yeah, so until then, you guys go out. Let's remove our backpacks and let's remove that luggage. Let's burn it to pieces so that we can get that clean, clear palette to manifest from. And you're an amazing soul. Thank you for everything you do. You're such a generous spirit. And thank you for that meditation. And you've got to join us ASAP for that full moon meditation. But don't worry if you missed that. Just start to do his meditations, because you will see and feel the difference. And hopefully you're doing some of the things we talked about today to see it. And like you said, the certainty of it really causes the transformation. So until next time, get radical, love the skin you're in, and know that we're here about passion, purpose, and creating a life you love. So namaste, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.